Absolute power creates absolute corruption. What does that really mean? Well, basically, in the most bald sense, it means when a person is not held to account, what happens is freedom for granted and they make other people do what they want, how they want, when they want, and when other people don't, they penalize them to the point of death. We can see it in Castro, we can see it in Hitler, we can see it in ooh, different warring tribes in Africa, ancient Africa. We can see it all over in terms of human history. However, if we think about it in terms of North American slavery, and we look at slave patrollers compared to police, we can see that they have been endowed with absolute power by the law. Hello, I'm Dr. Venus, your hot mess millionaire. And today we're dealing with power. Today is a power conversation. Everybody wants power. Was it fight the power? Everybody talks about power. But one of the things I want to really unpack today is the pitfall of power. Because when a person has power and other people don't, without checks and balances, what is predictable is that the person who has power will become corrupt, meaning they become selfish, self centered, narcissistic, and they become so enamored with their power, they dehumanize other people. The irony of it is that what has a person actually, how can you say, acquire power requires they be great with people. Now, isn't that something? They be great with people, and once they have power, they forget people. They forget the humanized. They forget the humanity of other folks. And then they have to villainize a whole different group to keep themselves in power. They actually have to minimize another person's humanity in order for them to know themselves as powerful. Now, I'm not saying something you don't already know. Sis, I know you're educated. I know you know some things. I know you book smart. I know you street smart. I'm here for it all day. I'm an advocate for my allies, for my brothers. I'm clear you know this, fam. That's not the point. What I'm after is the popo. I'm after the police today. Today, I want to talk about the popo. And I want to talk about the popo in terms of history, not just in terms of what we've been contending with in America since we got here, and not even contending specifically directly to all of the protests that happened in the summer of 2020 when George Floyd was publicly executed. I'm clear that his murderer is doing time. I have opinions about how much time. I got opinions about parole. You know how I feel about these things, so I won't bore you. However, what I will say is this. What we don't talk about is the history of policing. We don't talk about where it came from. If you ever think about it, I want you to walk this slow with me. Okay, oh, before I go all the way in, let me make sure I get my words in. Please be sure to sign up for the Hot Mess Millionaire podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you download. Make sure you share. Okay. And also, girl, I am doing the darn thing. I am pre-selling the Gurrl app. We go live in 2022. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. All the way live. And if you want to be part of that process, if you want to be part of History in the Making, I have a link in the notes up above. And the link says, I don't remember what the word says, but the link is the second link. It says, it says thegurrlapp.com/pre-sale. Okay, please go there, subscribe. We have a monthly meet and greet that is ridiculously awesome. You're going to network with some amazing, that's just a network, you're going to bond with, I don't want to make it business, I want to make it beautiful. You're going to bond with some amazing Black women and some allies. We got some sisters in there from another mister who are down for the cause, girl. They're like, they're gangster with it. Not playing with us. Really amazing women. I think we have a couple of men who are feminists or womanists. Hallelujah, hallelujah. It's very beautiful. Some brothers who are like, look, we got you, what you need. So I'm going to encourage you to come. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe, pre-order the app, because you're going to be part of the unfurling, okay? And we're going to do a Kickstarter campaign. We're going to start getting the social media up. It's going to be glorious to watch. You're going to watch it be born. And from this institution, from this enterprise, we will birth 100 billionaire Black women through content and technology in the next 5 years. Okay? So I'm going to encourage you to come walk with me. Go to www.thegurl, Gurrl app.com/ pre-sale. Grab that now. Do that now. Very excited about it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay? And you'll get the app first. Okay? You're going to get a lot of goodies, but I just want to make sure I put that in. And if you want to stay in touch, there's the Gurrl App interest form at the top in the notes as well. Okay? So I just want to put those things in. I think I got all my announcements in. I think I got okay. Girl. The po-po is cray-cray. I'm going to keep it light, but I'm going to keep it real, all right? So, you and I talk about the police. At least I have. I've talked about the police since I became aware of the police. Remember NWA, fuck the police? I think that's when I started to become really aware of it. But they were always in my neighborhood. Have you noticed that? When you're poor and Black, or you're poor and poor, or you're poor and person of color, or you're poor white, the police, they patrol us. You see what I'm saying? They're always looking, always watching, always fishing. You know, oh, please share. Oh, for the love of God, please share. This is some next level content. Please share. No one's talking about the slave patrol and the popo. Educate us. Please pay this forward. If you're being fed, don't be stingy. Pass this forward. Pay it, circulate it. No one's talking about what I'm talking about. And I'm glad. I mean, y'all know I'm a stand-up, and I do conscious comedy. You know what I'm saying? So you know I got an edge on me, but the intent is to educate, not just entertain, right? And inspire us. So please share this broadcast. It's important. Please don't make me beg you for it. I will if I need to, but don't make me beg you for it. Please share it. Otherwise, we're going to keep living in the lies that have been told for generations. And my job is to shed truth. That's why you're called truth tellers. We tell the truth, okay? So please share. Go ahead and start that now. Thank you very much. Okay, and but let me help you understand what's going on. So I think it was 1806. Let me go be nosy because I'm a nosy. I want to get my dates right. Let me just make sure I don't get sloppy because I want people saying, oh, you're sending fake news. You're sending fake news. I'm not sending fake news. Calm yourself. Just breathe through it. Breathe through it. Come on. Breathe through it. Come on. Okay. Let's see. The earliest, it was in the Carolinas, of course. I think North Carolina, 1828 is one of the early dates, but I have one that's even earlier than that one. Let me see. Hold on. Let me just see if I can find it. Yes, I can. Okay, Organized slave patrols were groups of armed white men who monitored and enforced discipline upon Black slaves in the plantation era U.S. southern states. The slave patrol's function was to police slaves, especially runaways and defiant slaves. Now, let me help you understand something. Let me decode this. That meant we were fighting their asses. Okay, we were like, oh, hell no. Nah. You're not going to keep us like this. You're not going to keep us down. You don't keep us in bondage. So I want you to understand that the only reason you would need a slave patrol to address runaways and defiant slaves is because we were fighting back. We were standing for ourselves. And that's not in the history books. That's not what we're taught. We're taught that we were gullible fools and that the white man, for lack of a better phrase, came in and tricked us with jewelry and trinkets. Okay, that's how the story is told. It makes us sound weak and gullible, when in truth, we fought then, we fight now. Okay, so I just want to make sure I wanted to make sure that was spoken. Okay, they also formed river patrols to prevent escape by boat. First established in South Carolina, 1704, and then the ideal spread throughout the colonies. Now I need you to understand this, sis. 1704 is a year and some change from 1865. Okay, the first slaves that are recorded to be brought from West Africa to North America, to Jamestown, Virginia, was 1619. Okay, so we're talking about everything we're flowing with right now is like a roughly 100-year mark. Okay, and the reason why I want to bring that to your attention is because if you think about the monuments from the Confederate monuments that have been coming down, and you think about the southern states, or even the Mason-Dixon, even those upper southern states that have been fighting, holding on for dear life because they don't want change. These are the states that started the police. The South Carolinas, the North Carolinas, the Virginias. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want y'all to start to understand something that's really profound. We're not talking about today. We're talking about history never being challenged. And we're challenging history, girl. We are changing the narrative because we now have knowledge. So I need you to start thinking of the police not as the white police that we see today. I don't really care about them. Y'all know how I get. That's not my concern. I'm more concerned with you getting free. And if you don't know that the police is a different version of the slave patrol, you're not going to be able to connect the history and have the power that comes with the knowledge of absolute control. Because the slave patrol was just like the slave catcher, just like the slave master, they had absolute control over black bodies. They could maim, they could shoot, they could tar, they could feather, they could lynch, they could burn, they could beat. Because specifically for the patroller, it was ordained by the law. Okay? Now, this is salient to understand because when you and I fight or have fought, I'm standing now, y'all. I'm doing my standing thing. I'm not fighting Jesus. See, I'm standing for what I believe. My conviction does not mean I have to tear somebody down to build me up. So I'm standing for us being economically and emotionally free. But if we're only starting from current events, we're not dealing with the legacy nor the learning that we learned from the slave patrol. You see what I'm saying? Our ancestors had to navigate all this, y'all. Come on now, walk with me. If we talking, look, as far as I'm concerned, our ancestors were gangsters, okay? I mean, I can't even deal with them. They were so smart. They knew some stuff that we are ignoring because we keep reinventing the wheel based in the newest um, um, incident. When the slave patrol has been here since 1706, right? And so what we're not contending with is the historiography of, or the, how can I say to Jesus? Let me fix it beautiful. We're not contending with the repackaging, that was good, Lord, the repackaging of the slave patrol. And so we end up starting over again instead of continuing on from what worked. You see what I'm saying? So I'm excited about this conversation because what I'm looking at is something that I say that the more we get an understanding of it, the better we can stand for what we're about. The first thing I want you to know is this. The slave patrol was designed to protect white people. I have some amazing resources. Read them. They're included in all my broadcasts. This group. There's some short ones. I got a video for PBS. It's some good stuff in this one. Okay, so check up on it. Get your own revelation. Don't take my word for it. Read for yourself. Get your own revelation so you can own your own knowledge. It's important. It really is. I don't need you to believe me. Don't ever believe me. Ever. Don't believe anybody. Get the knowledge. Read it yourself. Pull the pieces that matter to you, that empower you from this knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So that it serves you in your own stand for what you believe and what you stand for. That's all I'm about at this point, is empowering us to stand for that which is ours to stand for. Okay? We're not fighting them. We're standing. Okay? And so the slave patrols were created to protect white people. Okay? And the way that they did that was they wrote things into laws. And they gave, check this out, this is so dope, y'all. If you really take it on it to get you freed up. The slave patrols were given absolute power to do whatever they needed to do to subdue, control, monitor, and terrorize the black body. Okay? So, when we hear about a Sandra Bland, when we hear about a Aubrey. I can't. I'm on Aubrey. That's the names right now. Aubrey. When we see a George Floyd, this is what I need you to understand. What if now? Walk this one slow with me, and y'all let me holler at your girl. Let me know if this is resonating because it's important. What if? I just need y'all to feel me on this. So take a deep breath on this one because it's going to sound crazy when I say it out loud. Take the case that what we've been fighting has been the wrong fight. I've been dealing with racism and systemic, you know what I've been dealing with: systemic racism, oppression, systems of oppression, white supremacy, white extremism, all that. Yeah, 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 yeah. But check this out. If we look at Hitler, if we look at Castro, if we look at, let me go further back. If we look at, what's that Roman brother? If we look at Caesar, if we look at, help me say it beautiful, God, please help me say it beautiful. If we look at the nature of human being when they are unchecked in different countries throughout time, what we bump into is the same breakdown called absolute power. Absolute power. We have it in Africa. We have it in the United States. Trump was trying real hard for this. Absolute power is unchecked power. It corrupts. It actually changes people. I need y'all to hear me. I'm not justifying anybody. You should walk with me on this. So stay with me. Stay with me on this, okay? I'm not justifying anybody's bad behavior from any part of the world. I'm not even tripping off of that. I just need you to understand some things. Because the more we understand, the more powerful we are in terms of how we win, okay? And you have to, y'all need to understand something. You cannot win something if you don't know what you're fighting for. If you don't know what you're dealing with, if you don't know your opponent, you're going to lose. If you don't know what you're up against, you're going to lose. You can't, I do money. Y'all know I do money. If you don't know how to market to your people, you're going to lose money. If you don't know how to message to your people, you're going to lose money. If you don't know how to price, package, and position for your people, you're going to lose. So it's not just about throwing a business up and getting a logo. You're going to lose. You're going to lose all the time you invested in that business. You're going to lose all the money you could have made had you gone and worked for somebody else. And you're going to lose your shirt because you don't know how to do sales and marketing. Okay? The principle still applies. You got to know what you're dealing with in order to win at whatever you want to win at. And I'm not talking about win, lose. I mean like absolutely thriving at the thing that you're committed to. So I need you to walk with me in this and get an understanding. And yes, share the content. Share this broadcast. This is about getting free. You can't get free if you're ignorant. If you're in reaction, you can't get free. You can only react to their provocations. And I'm not even talking about white people per se. Per se, put that in quotes. I am talking about slave patrols, and I get to that in a moment. But I want to show you something. And you may know this. For all my street people, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, for y'all who are not street people, I'm about to get vulgar. So for all of my prudish people, for all of my super sister Christians, this is not for you. You may want to sit this part out because I'm about to go there. And I'm going to do my best not to be too explicit. I'll do some metaphors, but I need to get the point in, okay? So I can't protect you from the street in me because it's about to come out. I know it's about to come out because I'm warning you it's about to come out. So you may want to take the hint, okay? Because it's about to get kind of filthy. It's about to get kind of grimy, okay? So on the streets, if you are in the life, all right, and I'm talking about street culture life, and if you're dealing with pimping, work it out, folks, work it out. That is absolute power. That is absolute power, okay? If you're dealing with domestic violence, that's absolute power. Think about it. That's absolute power. If you're dealing with sex trafficking, that's absolute power. And it's irregardless of the color. It's even irregardless of the gender. You see what I'm saying? But if you deal with absolute power, look in your own life. When you're at a job and you can't leave, that's absolute power. That means they can cut your paycheck. They can take your time. They can make you work overtime. That is absolute fucking power. I need you to understand what I am addressing. I need you to take it from theory and bring it to your life. I need you to look in your life where you have felt powerless. Now, some of you haven't, but for those of us who have, look at it and notice that there was no checks and balances. There was no accounting, so they could do whatever they wanted to your body. They could do whatever they wanted to your paycheck. They could do whatever they wanted to your time. That's absolute power. And here's the thing, it didn't start out that way. Think about it. When you got that job, you got in that relationship, or you got that, whatever, it didn't start off that way. But when there's no checks and balance, human fucking nature gets corrupt. it gets corrupt. It gets selfish. It gets self-centered. It gets cold. It gets very, very centered around what it thinks as the truth. And if you don't, you die. Look in your own life and tell me I'm wrong. If you can tell me if you're a person who's gone through some fire, if you haven't gone through some fire, don't talk to me. I can't hear you. I can only hear people who've walked through life's fire and bear the scars. If you haven't gone through something, I can't really relate to you. And that's no fault of yours. Don't hold it heavy. Don't hold it heavy. But for those of us who've been powerless, who had to depend on somebody else to pay for something in order for us to eat or sleep or compromise our values in order for us to stay alive, I'm talking to you. That is who I'm talking to today. I'm talking about how it starts and then how it ends. No one goes into an abusive relationship. No woman I've ever met had purposely said, ooh, beat my ass. I don't know one. You start off and they're nice. They're good to you. They treat you special. They treat you kind. They talk pretty to you. Same thing if someone gets turned out. A pimp, look, pimps are smart. Actually, they're pretty brilliant if you think about it, once you get past the morality of it. And if you look at the game of pimping, you go find somebody who's insecure. You find somebody who has a weakness. You find somebody who needs something that you can provide. Hell, you can look at certain marriages this way. I want you to map it on if you got some courage. Map it onto your real life. Map it on and write it down. Let me hear from you. If you need something and they have it, they will find a way in. They will compliment you. They will provide for you. They'll be kind to you. They'll make you feel special and pretty and all that. And if you look at how it starts off pretty good. It starts off pretty good. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, someone likes me, someone loves me, someone thinks well of me, someone wants me, someone values me. You see what I'm saying? And so what happens is over time, that power, unchecked, without balance, without any accountability, becomes a jail. It becomes a shackle. It becomes a gun. It becomes a whip. It becomes a kick in the gut. It becomes pushed down a flight of stairs. You see what I'm saying? It becomes, I can do this with your body because no one can check me. I can do this with your money because I'm married to you. And legally, I can take every dime because I am your spouse. I can keep your children from you because I have legal right. I'm talking absolute power. When it goes unchecked, human being uses that and turns it into a form of corruption that actually is damaging from other people. And the thing that trips it out is that the person in absolute power doesn't see it because they're so disconnected to humanity, to their own feeling tone, that they don't see it as a violation. They see it as an enforcement of their rule. Let me know if this is making sense. Holla at your girl. Let me know. Where you at? I need to know. Is this making sense? I'm going to pretend that it is. I'm going to say, God, I'm going to pretend that it's making sense. Okay? So what I want you to understand is, what if it's not about skin color? What if it's about power? What if it's not about, well, honestly, and I'm not suggesting, please hear me. I am not letting anybody off the hook. Y'all know how I do. I'm just dealing with myself in terms of really giving us power and getting up under the assumptions that keep us doing the same behaviors. Because if we keep doing the same behaviors, we're going to have what we had more of in the past. But what I'm looking at is, okay, the thing that makes the police such a pain in the babushka in America is that they have qualified immunity. They're unchecked. There's no checks and balances to police. Now, you need to understand, it was built that way. It was built to protect white people. That includes the people enforcing the rule. Okay? So fundamentally, what I'm pointing to is we have a structure in place where the majority of the police are white men. Now, when they were slave patrollers, it was white men, some white women, but mostly white men. And they were land-owning white men primarily. They did have some working class white men who owned, some poor whites, but the majority were working class. I'm sorry, the majority was land-owning, okay? And they got paid to police us. Do you understand? They got paid to make sure we didn't run away, or to beat, or to find, or to hunt down, or to verify if our papers were in order. So you know how we talk about getting parking tickets, getting tickets from the cops? That's the stuff. That's the leftover from slave patrol. If you think about it, you don't know this. You may not know this, but most of the tickets are given in certain areas at a certain time of day because they have to read a certain quota in order for them to get paid for the tickets and citations they give out. You see what I'm saying? So they patrol low income areas, literally low income. I mean, was black, Mexican, Native, everybody, whites, then they can actually meet their quota and get paid for it. It's built into the law, literally built into it. And they're trained to relate to people of color, specifically black people, specifically black men, as a threat that needs to be murdered. It is a training. It is not even like, it's, how can I say this, God? It's not even a training like, oh, let's do a training on CPR. No, no, no. They're cultivated to come out in war gear because in 16, oh, was it 1607? The 16, let me look at my dates. Let me get my dates right. It was, let me find it, Jesus. Give it back, give it back, give it back. You give it back to me, Lord. Give it back. 1704, thank you. 1704, we were rebelling. We were revolting. And they built the slave patrol for revolt for those of us who were defiant. So I need you to understand that that equals that they had to get really vicious because as far as they were concerned, we outnumbered them. And if we outnumbered them, we could overpower them. So the level of threat, the level of parading our broken bodies in front of each other was a control mechanism that they use today. That is why when they pull us over, they put us out in the street for people to see us on our knees or on our back or on our stomachs with our hands over our heads so that people can see us, so we can see us and be afraid. All of that slave patrol. That's not police, that's slave patrol. That's slave police. And here's the irony. The badge for slave patrol is the same shape as the badge for sheriff. That's how far this goes. That's how far back this goes. Okay? I need you to understand this. And let me tell you why. The more you understand and comprehend that what we're dealing with is not the individual person, I would even venture to say it's not even the institutions, although that still counts. I'm not getting rid of that. What we're really dealing with is the very nature of what it means to be a human being. That was preach, God. Shall I say it again, Lord? Or do I just let it sit? Okay, I'm let it sit. What we're dealing with is the very nature of what it is to be a human being. That if something is left unchecked, not held to account, what is predictable is going to dehumanize other people in order for it to know itself as powerful. And whether it's a pimp on the street, or a slave trafficker, or a domestic violent family household, or a slave patroller, it's the very nature of a human being. That is hard to hear because that means that each one of us, hear my word, walk it out with me, okay? Each one of us, if left, how can I say this? God, fix it. If you, please let me say it, beautiful God, please help me, please help me, please help me, please help me. The very nature of human being is that when we are not held to account, what is predictable, check this out, what's predictable is that it's going to start going in our favor. When it starts going in our favor, we want more of that. Right now, I'm dating, okay? And I have this really great guy. He's awesome. I call him Mr. Lover Lover. I think I'm going to start calling him Love, okay? And I think I'm going to start calling him my love. I haven't got there yet. We're working it out, okay? And I'm noticing that as good as he's really good to me. I mean, ridiculous. He's getting another limo. I might have to do a live about it. I'll talk about it later. But he's taking me in happy to Las Vegas for my birthday, right? One of the things I'm noticing is that the night, as nice as it is to me, I'm starting to expect it. Have you noticed that? I'm starting to expect it. right? I'm starting to expect him to send me breakfast in the morning. And he lives in OC. I'm in LA, right? I'm starting to expect him to to call me. I'm expecting him to want to spend more. I'm noticing the entitlement that comes with this. Do you see what I'm saying? And I'm like almost insulted, like, well, how come you didn't call me? How come you didn't? You didn't send me. I didn't get a gift this week. No, and I'm pouty about it. The reason I'm saying it this way because I want you to see that as a human being, I think we have it in us. I think that I think we have it in us to do that when we're unchecked. I'm not suggesting that we're evil. I'm suggesting we're human. There's this book, Who Does It Better Than Me? It's called The Lord of the Flies. Go read it. It's a classic. It's a classic. Check up on it. But it shows how young baby boys and these guys, young kids, get stranded on an island, and they got to survive. And one of the leaders gets picked to help them get food, build fires. Another one who doesn't agree with him is trying to get off the island, whatever. So two different camps get developed, okay? And one of the camps is about power. The other one is about democracy, okay? One is totalitarian, one is democratic, okay? And what ends up happening is the one that's totalitarian, the one that is all about the power. He has them get his water. He has them peel his grapes. He has them get his food. Like it becomes all about him. And I'm wondering, I'm just asking y'all to think this through with me. If we deal with how we live our lives as Black women, one of the things we contend with is how little is organized around us and how we are organized around others. Whether it's the Black church, whether it's our loved ones, whether it's our children. You see what I'm saying? I'm inviting you to start thinking through it from a humanistic perspective, not a positivist. I'm not trying to be positive, but I am saying there's enough evidence in history to show that when a power goes unchecked, it becomes detrimental and it is ugly and it's in every moment of history in different forms. And it's with different nationalities, races. I mean, everything from Afghanistan to Rome. I mean, across the board, unchecked, absolute power creates absolute corruption. And I'm inviting us to dwell in that so that when we're standing for our economic and emotional freedom, we're not fighting white people. We're standing for a new relationship to what it means to be a human being. And I wish I had a better way to say it. I wish I could say something dope, but I can't think of anything better than, okay, as a human being, left unchecked, I would be like Trump. Left unchecked, I would be like slave patrollers. Left unchecked, I would do some foul shit. Okay? Whatever foul shit I could do at the level I could do it. Because as a human being, without accountability, we default into selfishness. And whether it's on a low scale or a big scale, it's still the same driver. It's still, I want my way. It's still, I'm better than you. And what if we didn't have to do it that way? It says, what if, God, please help me. What if we didn't have to do it that way? What if me being big didn't mean I had to make you small? Honestly, like really, like what if power wasn't about control, but about communing with each other? And what if, honestly, I want you to walk with me on this one. It sounds cray cray, but what if as Black women, we healed so deeply, so completely, that we weren't jealous of each other, that we could forgive every wrong ever done the way that Jesus forgives to us, by us? What if we really could actually be a human who bees, not a human being? Like what if my body is my human part, but my being is my spirit part? And what if we actually created a whole culture of Black women who were so in our power that we didn't need to crawl through each other's flesh to get power. What if, honestly, and what if we actually, oh my God, what if we actually healed and loved ourselves so much that when ugliness happened, we didn't take it personal? What if we didn't take it personal? What if we started to look from the mind of God? And this is just vibe on it with me for a minute, just vibe on it. And what we called an insult was just a speck of sand in the eye and mind of God. And what was really most valuable was the evolution of our souls. What if we're actually God wrapped in flesh, an individual expression of the divine? And as that expression of the divine, that how you do you and how I do me actually heals other people. Not because we fought them, but because we love so completely, there was nothing to fight. And I know I'm not saying people won't do ugly things. We know people won't do ugly things because it's the nature of humanity. That's the nature, it's the nature of the stinking flesh. But I don't want to be part of that no more. I don't want to fight the petty fights no more. I don't want to live like that. I want us, my prayer for us is that we actually become the change we want to see. And not because we're being good, but because we're being who we really are. And when I think about social change and whether or not people agree with my examples, because people get mad about my examples. I know Dr. King had affairs with white women. I know. I know Gandhi said some bullshit and did some bad things about race. I know. I know Oprah's not perfect. I know. I know. I know. I know. Okay. But what I am pointing to is that every human being has failed, but some human beings have been able to impact history. And I say, sis, that's you. You can change the course of human history by healing and letting yourself be loved. And I know it sounds kind of woo-woo. I know it sounds kind of, I don't know, soft or woo-woo, but it's not. Because everything that's ever been done that's actually made a difference in the quality of life for the human race has been done inside of love. And that doesn't mean we don't do the work. You see what I'm saying? I'm still doing my app. I'm still doing private clients. I'm doing my thing. But the energy through which I'm doing it is not to fight or prove. Is to discern and get to the place where I am no longer offendable. And I'm looking at, okay, God, what's missing that I can put in? I have a new private client who's an attorney. Thank you, Jesus. She works in policy. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. So I am training a Black woman who works on policy as an attorney around health and around, oh, she does some shit, all right? But she's being trained by me. I can't do what she does, but she impacts policy for the state of New Jersey. You understand? I think she does some stuff in New York, but I know she does for the state of New Jersey. So she's being trained by me. And she's not being trained in terms of, okay, let's get mad and fight. No, no. She's going to be able to impact policy. And she will be able to do it in the spirit of love. She'll be able to do it in her power. Not as a reaction, not as a retaliation. Because she's been trained, she's been mentored by somebody who says her love of herself, her power will come through her healing, as will her money. But that's what I do. I train millions. Girl, y'all don't even know. It's what the fuck I do. All I do is infiltrate. And it don't have to be me. Look, I got some country cousins on this one. I got some, look, I'm coming in. I'm coming in and I'm coming in different ways. Because I say that when we infiltrate, when we're entering different kinds of systems, if we're coming in with knowledge and we're coming in not angry and we're coming in healed and whole, we're going to be able to move things quicker, faster, and more effective than any other way. And we'll keep marching. I'm not saying no to the marching. And we'll keep Protesting. I'm not saying no to the protesting, and we'll keep standing for qualified immunity for police. Absolutely. I'm on that. Y'all know where I stand in that. But what's most salient, sis, is starting from where you are, looking in your own life. Where are you contending with absolute power? Where are you contending with the corruption of power? Where are you giving up your power to be nice, to get along? That, you know what I'm saying? Or where are you using your power to dominate or control? One of the things with my love, I can't control him with my money. Do you understand that as a chick with my how can I say this, Lord? As a hot mess millionaire, how crazy it feels that I cannot dominate him with my money? I can't, my money ain't good for him. He won't touch it. He's like, I don't want, and he doesn't even curse. It's a little annoying, but I'll live with it. He won't take it. So I can't even dominate him with money. You see what I'm saying? I can do other things, but I can't do it with money. Does that make sense? My point is, when we're healed, we won't have to. And because we have influence, just like our ancestors influenced all the white people that they had access to, we'll be able to influence policy. We'll be able to influence public opinion. We'll be able to influence what's put on television, the representations. The Gurrl App is designed to create a whole nother space so that we can represent ourselves the way we want to be represented. We can get the content we want. You see what I'm saying? So I'm on some next level shit with this. Let me hear you. Let me hear from you. And I'm not suggesting, you don't have to agree with me. Okay? I'm not asking for your agreements. You don't. I'm not for everybody. But for those for whom I am your teacher, let me hear from you. What do you think? What do you think about this idea of like, whoa, maybe it's not race, maybe it's human nature. Maybe what's missing is checks and maybe what's missing is accountability. Maybe what's missing is actually coming from a spirit of love instead of being right. What if that's all that's missing and we can put that in where we are and that permeates externally? You see what I'm saying? I've created myself with the possibility of loving leadership, support, and empowering partnership. That is all I'm doing for the rest of my life. I am creating that sufficient condition of that to arise in my space. I am not fighting old fights anymore. I am deconstructing the very nature of what it means to be a human being. And I'm reworking that shit. And I'm going to do it on my platform with my peoples, all of my truth tellers who are willing to win from a place of power and possibility, not pain. That's all I'm out to say. I'm falling back. I'm falling back, Jesus. I'm falling back, God. I'm falling back. I'm falling back. I'm falling back. Falling back. If you are fed by this word, it's life-giving word, it's life-affirming word, please pay it forward. Sis, you are God wrapped in flesh. You are the Alpha and the Omega. You are the beginning and the end. You are the head and not the tail. You are the righteousness of God made manifest. That's who the fuck you are. As far as I'm concerned, there is no one better. There will never be anybody better. You are it. You have the Eve gene. You have birthed the world. You have birthed every human being in some way, shape, or form if we go all the way back to Africa. So as far as I'm concerned, it's you. Everybody else, they get to benefit. So if I tend to you, the world will work because you are the world. You are the measure. You are the standard. And I know they told the lies and I know they did the distraction. La, 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 la. My job is to get you to stand for yourself, with yourself, so you can fulfill your destiny. And I take my job very fucking seriously. Okay? So I'm encouraging you, if you were fed by this word, please pay it forward. Don't be stingy. All right? I ran longer today because I felt the need to express myself. But know that I love you, sis. Know that I love you, bro. Know that I love you, allies. Know that I love you, fam. Okay? And all for all of my haters, I love you too. I know you're here. And I love you. So thank you for listening. And I know you're going to have you're going to help me understand all the things I said wrong. It's okay. I know you can't help it. I've actually gotten better with that. So if you need to speak, do your best to speak in a space of kindness, okay? Or I'll block, ban, or report you. Just so you know, all right? That's all I got. I know I talk long, but it mattered to me. So know that you love, sis. Completely. You're loved. I love you, girl. I love you so much. I love you so much. I'm so committed to you winning. I just love you. You're the answer. You're the one we've been waiting for. You're the answer to millions of people's prayers. You're it. You're it. And and you're perfect. And you're built for this. So don't be discouraged. and don't get fooled by the distractions. Okay? This is Dr. Benny's, your hot mess millionaire. Please remember this, my sweet sister of success and the brothers that love us, our allies and family. You're worth so much more than you have ever been taught to believe. Please share this broadcast and